went blank. Like, James just made me think about everything. Yeah.
You gotta type fruit in the comments. Just get it. I get it, David. Damn. Just don't say shit you don't usually say. You still recording?
Okay. Oh shoot. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Great Dame. Welcome to my first YouTube channel, first YouTube video. And in today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to make $5,000 a month reselling clothes. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is inventory. Inventory. So for me personally, I started off with my own shoes, my own clothes, some clothes that I found when I was younger that end up having some value to them. I ended up selling them on Poshmark, selling them on Mercari. By the way, Mercari, Poshmark, Facebook obviously, eBay, these are all selling platforms that you can grab in the App Store, either on Android or iPhone. So now that we got a lump of cash, we can now see exactly where we want to invest this money into. And this brings us to number 2. So number 2 is sourcing. And sourcing is just going out to thrift stores, Goodwills, different places like that you can buy items and resell for a great profit margin. I started off going to like Goodwill. I started off going to the outlets, started off going to thrift stores. All these places are good places to thrift. And even now, Goodwill has where you can order online mystery reseller boxes and they'll send you clothes that you can resell. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pro tip here, when you're out sourcing and looking for clothes to sell, it's really important that you keep in the back of your head who you're selling to and who's the target market. Oftentimes when you're sourcing, you can find the item that you're trying to sell at half or even a third of the price at these thrift stores, at these Goodwill bins, and you're gonna make a huge profit. For example, when I started off, I looked at Poshmark for everything. I looked at the filters and I even went and I checked for women's jeans. I said, oh, women's jeans, they like high rise, they like the flare. I said, let me go put that in the search bar, and I found that Madewell jeans sell for a lot. Didn't know what Madewell jeans were. But when I went back to the thrift store, I found some Madewell jeans, took them home with me for $8, washed them up, put them on the floor, laid them out nice and neat, put some little decorations around it, some plants. Plants are your friends. It's really important that you kind of spruce up the picture with some plants or a nice little bag or just something else that's gonna give that picture like an accent. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure you have the measurements down pat, because one thing that buyers don't like is when you list something and you don't have all the information correct or in that description. It's gonna make somebody scroll up and now you're waiting for another sale. Now we're stumbling upon tip number 3. So tip number 3 is research. You gotta research exactly what you're selling. For the profit margins that's gonna reap you a lot of money, you might wanna type in what sold for the most on Poshmark, what sold for 50 to 100. And then research those brands and look and keep them in your mind when you start going sourcing, like we said before. So when you're doing your research, make sure that you're aware of what styles or what brands are selling for a lot of money. And all I'm teaching you is how to make a lot of money. So if you wanna know what sells for the most, go to Poshmark, go any of these apps. I say Poshmark, go to Poshmark, go to the filters and see what sold for 50 to 100 or 100 to 150 and go out and see if you can find it. Now, another thing that comes with research that is kind of overlooked is the condition. So yeah, you can find Rock Revival jeans and you know that they're going to sell for about 50 bucks. If you go find Rock Revival jeans for 10 bucks in a thrift store, don't just grab it because the brand. Grab it, look at it, and really expect it, because it could be missing a little bedazzled jewel out the back pocket, and now you have a seller returning something to you. And you don't want that, because now it's wasting your time, their time, and ultimately you got your $10 back and that profit is now gone. So last thing I want to say to sum up point number 3 is just to make sure you know what you're selling. Make sure you know what you're buying. Don't just go out there and buy it because it looks good to you, because you're not about to keep it. If you want to make a lot of money fast, then that's when you go check those filters out, see what sold for the most, and keep your eyes open, because there are tons of brands that you can find in your local thrift store, online, or people reselling things out their closet. And my final point, that brings us to number 4. Number 4 is really, really critical. This is where you get your money. Presentation is everything, but the item's actual quality is even more important. I know we touched on the condition, but You also just don't want to miss out on the smell. You don't want to miss out on minor stains, little stitching errors, missing buttons. Those are very important. Those will get a return back to your house. Documenting the description and the condition of the item exactly how it is probably a huge key point that we overlook, because a buyer doesn't want to buy from someone that's lying and they finally get the item and it's not what was described. That's how you get a case opened, and that's how you get your item returned back to you. So let's document everything. Even if there's a minor stitching error, let's just say that so that the buyer knows what's coming to his house or her house. Real quick tip here, when you're taking pictures of the item, keep in mind that sometimes from the camera roll to Poshmark, the box is very small. So if you have a square preset on your camera roll or on your camera, go ahead and select that so that it all fits into the box. Other thing is lighting. You want to make sure the lighting is good. I like to use natural sunlight. I don't really like to use a flashlight or something like that, or a lamp, because it throws off the shade of the color sometimes, but that's just my preference. If your flashlight works, go ahead. But it's really important so that the customer sees exactly what they're getting. And that's really all it's about when you're selling. You want to sell the best version of yourself, your work, and the product. And to wrap it up, we went over 4 key points that should kickstart your journey into reselling. Oh, and don't forget, the most important part about this entire process is to research. Research, research, research. If you enjoyed this video or this video helped you in any type of way, go ahead and press that like button. Do me a favor and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.